Hey y'all, just wanted to drop in here and share a fun trick that is going to make your lives a whole lot easier as you begin to build out multiple pages within your web design for your local business. So here I am, I've got my Handles Homemade Ice Cream desktop view done. And as I look at this, I have a large call to action here at the very top. I've got some featured content blocks here in the middle using my grid system. You can see that I've got 3 4-column blocks here. Then I split things up as I move down the grid and kind of leverage that down the page. So as I look at this though, there are some things that I think I might want to reuse from page to page. I think one of the most common reusable components from page to page in any web design, any redesign or any product that you're designing are common and consistent buttons. You can see here on this page, I've got this kind of larger button that you see here. I've got some smaller buttons that I leverage in a couple different areas. And then I've got a similar button to this, just maybe with a little different style here down the page. So let me just show you how you can set up a button as a reusable component so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel or recreate it every time. And it just becomes a really simple, easy drag and drop tool for you to use as you build out your web design. So here I've got my primary button and I'm using it here for find a location. So let me show you what I did. So I've added this primary button into my components panel here on the left hand side. Now we are in the same panel we were to create our type structure, and we just added new components. I think I walked you through in another earlier video how I leveraged and added the logo from my mood board as a repeatable and reusable component so that anytime I want to use the Handles logo, I can just drag and drop and have it available, easy and ready to use. So let me show you how I set up a button, because here I have a primary button set up and I can actually double click on this, change the text to say, call us now for ice cream. Love that. And it will change and respond to the size depending on what I want to have in there. Maybe I want to say just call us now, and the button will change and respond to it. Super cool. It makes your job a whole lot easier. So let me just show you how I set up creating this button and walk you through this. So I'm going to create a different button. I've already got primary set up. I used it for my find a location near you, but let me just show you how I did this. So all I'm doing here is I'm selecting the rectangle option to create a button. And maybe you want a button that is just a very large button that's a really large call to action on your page. And let's say maybe your button is a purple color. So let me choose a color, this kind of vibrant purple in here. And let's say you want to, this button style is called pill shaped. This rectangle would just be kind of a square rectangle button. But let's say maybe you wanted to do a rounded corner button. So you've seen buttons like this before, just kind of slightly rounded on the edges here. And you can do this one of two ways in Adobe XD. As you click on the shape, you can actually change the size of it depending on what you want. Or you can come over here into this panel right underneath some of the different multiplying color options and change this to be the even rounded corners, or have rounded corners at varying sizes on the page. So let's just say I want to make it an even 10 pixels there. Now, if you wanted to get really crazy, you can make 110, 120, 115, 15, and have just a really awkward shaped button. I would highly discourage you from doing that. But let's just make it 10 all the way around just to show you what that would look like. So now I've got like the backdrop for my button. This is kind of a standard button. It's 80 pixels tall. Let's make it, we're going to change the width, so that really doesn't matter at this point. Let me then add some text. So let me just add then some text that says this is a button. So you might have some copy or some typography in your character styles that you might want to use. Maybe you want to use this H4 that I have listed here. So I can click on that and I can change the color to make sure that it's readable. Make it white. It's left aligned. That's good. And let me just see. Maybe I want to have it 24 pixels from the actual edge of this button. Now I'm using on a Mac my Option key as I have my text selected. I can use my Option key to see how far this is from the left-hand side, right-hand side. You can kind of see these smart guides come up to show you roughly where your placement is within your button. So let's match this on the right-hand side and make this 24. I'm short by 4 pixels. Once I get close, I just use that right side panel there. Now I'm 24, 24 top and or left and right, 23, 23 top and bottom. If I really wanted to get really pixel perfect about this, I might make this an 82 pixel button just so that I can be 24 pixels all around this button here. So now if you see I am 24, 24, 24 all the way around, and let me just show you how then I can recreate this button so that it will scale no matter what size that I want this button to be. So what I'll do is I'll highlight this and I'll group it. And once I group it, you see some new options here on the right hand side. You see option for stacking, which is just allowing you to be able to repeat things left and right, top to bottom. But the one we're worried about right here is padding. And so let's see, you have different options. You have padding that is unique and identical all the way around, or you have padding that is kind of variable all the way around. So right now, like I mentioned, I have 24 pixels top, right, left, or top, bottom, left, right in my button itself. So XD is kind of auto sensing that to be 24 all the way around. Let's say that I wanted it maybe a little bit wider on the left and right. And let's say instead of 24, maybe I wanted it to be 36 on the right, and I wanted it to be 36 on the left. I can change those values, and you see my button adjusted a little bit for me there. So now here, let's see how you create the actual component. So here I have a button. It looks really good. Love this button. Love the fonts. Love the colors. What I'll do is once I'm satisfied with that, I'll just come over to the components panel, click the add button, and now you see I have this new button component in my panel over here. So let's see what that would actually look like. Now I'm just going to move this off to the side just to show you. But let's say I wanted to replace this, find a location near you, with this new button that I've created. I can just drag this in, make sure it's kind of lining up properly, and then I can change this to say, find a location near you. And all I did there was I just double clicked into my text, and I can swap this out to whatever I want, and that button is going to respond to the text that I have because I've already set it up. Now, what's really cool about that is if you have different button styles and you have different areas that you're going to leverage button down the page, you can quickly drag and drop and add, sorry, I grabbed my face there. You can grab the buttons and change them as you need to moving down the page. So buttons is a common component that is reusable from page to page. That's really helpful. Logos are another one. And so I just like to, after I've done my first page, kind of look and see, where might be the components that I could have reusable from page to page. One other one that I went ahead and I created in here as well was my footer. I'm going to have a footer on every single page here. And so what I did was I just went in and I've highlighted it, I grouped it, and I've added it to my panel so that now anytime I'm doing a new page, I can drag and drop my footer in there and I don't have to recreate it every single time. I've also done that with my navigation. And so I can quickly drop in my navigation on every page that I want. So building your components panel is just a really smart way for you to create consistency within your design. Let's say I was going to use this white block over and over and over again. I can add this to my components panel so that anytime I needed to add a white block that had that shadow on it, that kind of spacing, I can just come in, drag it, drop it in here, and now I've got my my object in there ready to go. So just wanted to quickly showcase for you how you can create repeatable components. It's extremely helpful as you begin to build out your design. I would definitely create your buttons as a repeatable component, maybe your navigation and your footer, once you have them solid on the first page. That way, as you go to page 2 and page 3, you can just reuse those by dragging and dropping from your components panel. So hopefully this was helpful. I just wanted to share some quick insights. I know it's probably been covered in other videos, but hopefully it's helpful just to kind of see that live in action from my point of view. I've definitely leveraged, you can see in my panel, besides these two that we've got here, I've just got a few that I've found that are repeatable and reusable. I'm going to add the secondary button there as well. And that way I have components that I know are going to be consistent from page to page. So hopefully this video about creating reusable components was helpful. Find some areas in your site that you could leverage for reusable components, and I'll talk to y'all in some other videos. Have a good one. Thanks.